One of my old Meerschaums. I use it a lot, as you can see. It's got a nice cake in it. It's a big bowl, but I don't fill it up all the way. The nice thing about Meerschaums, in my ignorant opinion, is I feel like I can get away with smoking a more cased, heavier tobacco in it because I feel like it gets more air into that. Meerschaum is such a lightweight, and that's how I feel like a lot of the lighter briar. Same way with the cob. With the cob, you get so much more air in through the actual wood part, not just bringing it in from the top. So, in my Meerschaum today, I have some 2005, 10-year-old Rose of Latakia. Now, it's just so strong. So I started out with that in the bowl. And then I ended up putting in a little bit of Virginia too. Just because I always know that Virginia will smooth that out a little bit for me because I don't like as strong a tobacco as some people do. I loaded this bowl while I was getting ready to, while I was getting dressed and stuff. So it's getting smoked a bit. I have a dinner I'm going to. Okay, so this is, let's see, let's go with Babyface Huey. Now, these are some of the new guys that are on, and I have been watching, but I hadn't been commenting, and I hadn't been making a lot of videos. I just make little short ones, so I haven't really done any VRs to any of the giveaways and stuff. And darling, I do not need no more tobacco, so I'm not entering this for the tobacco or the prize or the giveaway. I'm entering it because I just love all you new pipers. I do. I just am so thrilled that we've got so many new pipers that are coming on and stuff. And like I say, this is thing about this here Meerschaum, along with a lot of my other ones, is it's probably older than 50% of the people that are on YouTube. Oh, probably more than 50% of them. I'm old, so I have old pipes. I have new ones too, but... And his question was tobaccos that he wants to try, and he would like to try them with you. And I think that's a great idea. I personally am trying not to buy too much tobacco because I'm trying to use what's in my cellar. I have so much that at this point in my life, I know I'm never going to smoke it. But when we were talking about the ones that I would want to try again, there's 2 or 3 actually that I'd like to try, and it's not trying them necessarily, but trying them again. Oh gosh, that vodka is so smooth. Hang on a minute. It always takes my breath away just a little. Okay, so like a good example is this. This is now 10 years old. What I like to do, and it's a little over, to me, I should have used this up, 5 years ago. I'm running behind. I just can't keep up. But what I like is to take an old vintage tobacco like this and get a new one, to go with it. And that way I can taste the difference between a vintage and a new one. And sometimes there's definitely a different note in that, especially in anything cased. And anything that's a heavy Latakia, it just gets heavier, smokier, almost to the point that when I opened this, I was in the mood for barbecue. But it is a nice, rich, over-the-top taste. And if you like Latakia, then this is it. This is the one that I would say you should start with, end with, and stay with. So as far as some of the new ones that I'd like to try, it's not necessarily that I'd like to try some, because when you've been smoking as long as I have, you really in the end get to try them all kind of. If you don't try necessarily the exact same one that someone else is trying, you're trying something that's very similar. There's only so many tastes in the whole world, and I think in the 40 years that I've been smoking a pipe, I think I've got them. I think I've had them. I think I like them. Because I like all of the different tobaccos. I'm not as big on cased as a lot of people are, but in the wintertime, I do tend toward a heavier, deeper cased pipe. For the most part, I'm a 965 girl. I started out with 965, and that's always been my go-to. As a matter of fact, it's one of those ones where if I call it the kitchen sink of tobaccos because it just has a little bit of everything. And if you like a nice, light, real flavorful, always changing into flavor, the 965 is great when it's brand new. If you like the same sweetness, only very mellowed, very even tone, then you just age it a little bit and you've got just a wonderful tobacco. So I guess when I'm talking, you'll always know that 965, and say it all together, girls, and boys, because whenever I say, what's in here, and everybody all out there in the whole YouTube world, when they're watching the video, it says 965. But that is me. There's other people that have certain ones that they like. I also tend toward a really nice, straight, aged, wonderful, especially Sam Garth Flake, a Virginia Flake. You give me a 10-year-old Virginia Flake, and I'm over the moon. I mean, and then I use it with everything else too. So, but Daughters of Ryan has brought out Ryback Gold, and I do want to get some of that. It's a Dutch style, and it's actually a remake. Now, I have had Daughters and Ryan, not Daughters of Ryan, but Daughters and Ryan. Every once in a while, I'll get out there Rim Boucher, and that is so much like a cigarette tobacco. And but I'd like to go back and try that again because I don't know if it's one they're remaking or not. But anyway, I haven't had that, so I think that would be one. And then John Cotton, he's got certain tobaccos. Now you either like John Cotton or you don't. This is the nice thing about this community. Nobody puts anybody down for what they like. And everybody realizes there are so many tobaccos out there that if you can't find something you like, then you're not trying very hard. Now, there are some people. I have a wonderful friend that he wants so much to be a piper, and it's the pipeless piper. And he would love to smoke a pipe, but he just hasn't found the niche that he's looking for. And it bothers him a little bit. So I sent him some snuff, and he had trouble with the snuff too. So, there are people that want to be pipe smokers, and it just isn't in the works for them. So John Cotton has some Smyra, Smyra, and there's some an old version of it. And I looked through my inventory. I keep it in a computer or on a standalone computer. And, I didn't see any that I had stored away. I did see where I had smoked some vintage about 8 years ago, but, or 7 years ago. Anyway, I saw where I'd had some that had cellared and that I had smoked it. And it was, when I looked at the review, it was that I wrote for myself. It was all, the things I like in it. It was Latakia, but it was a smooth Latakia and stuff like that. So I'd like to try some of those, but the Aro series, the Arcadia, the Vapor, I haven't had any of that in a while. So, there are some that I just want to try because I haven't had them for a while. They're remaking them. That's what Baby's Bottom by Dunhill. I did try Baby's Bottom by Dunhill. Now, I had, luckily, unluckily, depending on how you look at it, I'd had a fire, and so a lot of them that I had jarred lost their labels because, and this is one of those things that, sometimes I always try to throw in a little bit of information on other things. When you take and jar your tobaccos, a lot of you put those labels all over the outside just for the hell of it, just because I'm telling you to, and you'll thank me one day. One of you somewhere will thank me one day. I always include a label on the inside. It just needs to be a little bitty piece of paper. It doesn't have to be, it's not going to change the taste. Don't use a whole lot of ink. Just a little bitty sheet inside, because if something like a fire comes along and your jars get wet, even though they're safe, usually the tobacco inside is safe, you have no idea. So after I had a fire about 14, 15 years ago, I had jars of tobacco that, although they came through the fire, they weren't actually in the fire, they were in another room and they got all wet and stuff. I I didn't know what they were. I mean, I could make a good guess from the taste of it, but it would have been nice if I thought to do that, eh? So here is my thing. Babyface, if you would, I think that's funny calling him Babyface. If you have some that you would like to try of vintage ones, and we could just trade off. I could send you some of my vintage, and you could send me some of the new. So I'm not really entering the contest because, but if you want to do something like that, that would be kind of fun. Any of you guys want to do something like that? Just PM me or let me know because pretty much what you want, baby, I got it. I've been collecting a long time. So that would be what I would say as far as what I would want to try. Anything that has been remade. And especially if I have one that's already in my cellar. It's very interesting. Baby's Bottom is a good example of that. The Baby Bottoms that is out now by Dunhill. In my stupid, ignorant, girly, old woman opinion, the new Baby's Bottom is better than, to me, the old Baby's Bottom was. In the old Baby's Bottom tins and stuff too, and this is from a memory of 30 years ago, so maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed to me like it was very inconsistent in the cut. I would come across a chunk of one type of tobacco and then a stick of another. And so I don't know if that's why they phased that out, because they were having a quality issue and people weren't buying it, or if it was just that was how they were doing it. And now, because of machinery and it's not as labor intensive as it was back then, maybe now that's all happened and it's more machine done, maybe there's a difference in the consistency of the quality. So for that, and this is what I'm saying, sometimes the new version can be better than the old version, but you're never going to know unless you're trying both versions. And so that's why if there was tobaccos I wanted to try, it would be remakes of ones that they've discontinued and have brought back out. So that's my answer. Happy, happy, joy, joy. I'm watching you. Even if I'm not commenting, I'm always watching. And welcome, new pipers. It's so fun to see all these people hitting their hundreds. You guys just come, you don't realize that in the old days, and I'm speaking from the old days, 100 subs, it just took forever. And now, because the YouTube pipe community has grown by leaps and bounds, and I think that's because people are finding out about us. In the old days, you just didn't go on to a YouTube channel and smoke because it was still a no-no. When YouTube first came up, it was still we were going through that phase in America and in all over the nation where smoking is bad. And it is bad. But, you make your choices. And if, at least it's not like cigarettes. I mean, it's not like it's got all those accelerants. Some case ones do have accelerants. I don't want you to think that I'm not aware that tobaccos, some of them do have accelerants. But in a cigarette, you are smoking so many more chemicals than just the tobacco and the casing that's on those tobaccos. So that's why I prefer smoking pipes over cigarettes. I've always smoked a pipe. I'll always smoke a pipe. And I am a nicotine queen. So like tonight I'm going out and I can't smoke a pipe a lot of times, but I'm taking my butternut toast. I have 3 of them to go with me. I'll take 2 or 3 of my little tins of snuff. And you'd be so surprised at how many people want to try snuff. I get more girls hooked on snuff because it's something we can do. When you're smoking a pipe in public, they come by and they cough at you and stuff. And I always say, when somebody comes by and coughs because I'm smoking, and as a female smoker, I get a lot more comments than that. I always say it's a good thing you don't smoke with a cough like that. But, being a woman smoker and always having been a smoker and been young when I started and everything, I have had all those comments. And there's always, some guy out there who knows pipes and he'll say something like, well, do you realize you're smoking a Dunhill? they act like I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know I'm smoking a Dunhill. Why do you think I'm smoking it? But there's always those guys that are, oh, I can't even begin to tell you the rude comments that I've had. And in some ways that's kind of fun because, I've had guys come up and say, the rude things like, here, baby, let me put this in your mouth instead of that, and you can suck on this. And I've always, had to answer for them, and usually the answer is, I'd rather stick with my pipe. I know where it's been. It's cleaner, and I'm sure it tastes better. And probably bigger. I say it's been a fun life for me. Like I say, when you've got over 40 years under your belt smoking pipes, you've been through it all, and I love tobaccos. Happy, happy, joy, joy. I'm walking, I don't know. I just seem to ramble on. Bye.